When a narcissist realizes his life is ruined because of his actions. Narcissism, with all its captivating charm, self-assured confidence, and manipulative tendencies, is a psychological trait that many of us find ourselves fascinated by. It's a term we throw around often, especially when we encounter someone who seems self-centered or lacks empathy. But behind the facade of grandiosity and superiority lies something far more fragile. The moment when a narcissist realizes their life is unraveling because of their own actions is a fascinating and often tragic event. It's a moment when the illusion they've built comes crashing down, forcing them to face the reality they've been running from their whole lives. Picture a life constructed like a house of cards, beautiful, complex, and seemingly solid. But just a small gust of wind, the lightest pressure from reality, can send it all tumbling down. The narcissist's life is much like this. They've spent years perfecting their image, manipulating those around them, and convincing themselves and others that they are invincible. But what happens when they can no longer hold the cards together? When they start losing control over the very situations and people they've dominated for so long. Stay with us until the end, because this deep dive into the mind of a narcissist as their world crumbles will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about how people deal with failure, self-awareness, and the fallout from their actions. And if you're enjoying the content so far, be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video with anyone you think would find it just as intriguing. Now, let's unravel the mystery behind the narcissist's fall. One of the most gripping aspects of a narcissist's downfall is their complete inability to process failure in the same way most people do. For the narcissist, life is a constant performance, a delicate balancing act of maintaining superiority while keeping others beneath them. They thrive on admiration and control, and they'll go to great lengths to maintain this dynamic, even if it means sacrificing their relationships, integrity, or long-term success. But life has a funny way of catching up with people, and for the narcissist, the reality of their actions often hits like a freight train. At first, the cracks in their life might appear subtle. A friend distancing themselves, a partner growing tired of their manipulations, a colleague becoming wise to their power plays. The narcissist, in their usual fashion, will likely dismiss these early warning signs. They've spent years cultivating a sense of invulnerability, believing they are always the smartest, most charming person in the room. So, why would they notice when the tide starts turning? But then, something bigger happens. Perhaps it's a public humiliation, a failed business deal, or the collapse of a long-term relationship. These are moments that even a narcissist can't ignore. And when the walls start closing in, the narcissist is faced with a terrifying realization. Their life is falling apart, and they are the ones to blame. Here's where things get truly interesting. Instead of taking responsibility for their actions, most narcissists will initially lash out. They'll double down on their manipulative tactics, blaming others for their failures. In their mind, they are never wrong. Everyone else is. A narcissist, when faced with failure, will go to great lengths to maintain their delusion of control. They might even go as far as to create elaborate stories or new enemies, just to avoid the painful truth that their actions are at the root of their problems. If you've ever known a narcissist personally, you might have witnessed this firsthand. The moment when they start losing control can be explosive. They'll accuse their friends or partners of betrayal, manipulate others into taking the blame, and try to convince everyone around them that they are the victims of some grand conspiracy. But no matter how hard they try, the truth eventually catches up. And when that happens, the narcissist is left with nothing but the consequences of their own behavior. Now, imagine the narcissist, sitting alone, the silence deafening as they are forced to face the reality they've avoided for so long. The people who once admired them are gone. The control they once had has slipped through their fingers, and the grand image they've built for themselves has been shattered. In these moments, a narcissist experiences what can only be described as an identity crisis. You see, narcissists derive their entire sense of self-worth from external validation. They need constant admiration and attention to feel good about themselves. So, when that supply of admiration dries up, they are left with a gaping hole where their self-esteem used to be. This is why the narcissist's downfall is so tragic. It's not just the loss of relationships, jobs, or status that devastates them. It's the loss of their very identity. Let's pause for a second. Can you imagine what it feels like to live your entire life believing you are better than everyone else, only to have that belief torn apart by your own actions? It's a terrifying thought, and one that most narcissists are ill-equipped to handle. If you're finding this discussion compelling so far, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. We've got more thought-provoking content on the way, and you won't want to miss it. As the narcissist's life begins to unravel, they often spiral into behaviors that are even more self-destructive. Rather than accepting responsibility and seeking help, many narcissists will sink deeper into their delusions. They might isolate themselves, cutting off anyone who challenges their narrative, or they might lash out in increasingly toxic ways, hoping to regain some sense of control. But the harder they fight against the truth, the more it slips away from them. For some narcissists, the realization that they are responsible for their own downfall can lead to a complete mental collapse. Depression, anxiety, and even paranoia can set in as they struggle to make sense of a world where they are no longer on top. In rare cases, a narcissist might seek therapy or help, but even then, the road to recovery is long and difficult. Narcissists are notoriously resistant to change because admitting they need help requires them to confront the very flaws they spent their lives denying. Let's not forget, though, that not all narcissists reach this point of realization. Some will go to their graves convinced that they were always right, that everyone else was the problem, and that they were simply misunderstood. But for those who do face the truth, the experience is nothing short of a personal apocalypse. Have you ever seen a narcissist's world crumble? It's a dramatic, painful, and often lonely process, but it's also a powerful reminder of the importance of self-awareness and empathy. Narcissists live in a world where they are the center of the universe, but that world is built on lies, manipulation, and an inflated sense of self. When reality comes knocking, it's not just their life that falls apart, it's their entire sense of self. And now, as we reach the end of this journey into the mind of a narcissist, I want to thank you for sticking with us. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might find it just as captivating. Let us know in the comments if you've ever witnessed a narcissist's downfall. Your stories could help others understand this complex and often misunderstood personality trait. Until next time, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.
7 ways to make a narcissist unable to deal with you. Narcissists, with their charm, manipulation, and unshakable sense of superiority, are often difficult people to handle. Whether they're a partner, a family member, a friend, or a coworker, these individuals can make interactions exhausting, draining, and at times, deeply damaging. But what if there were ways to turn the tables, making the narcissist unable to deal with you? That's right. While narcissists love to be in control, there are tactics you can use to disarm their manipulations, making them uncomfortable, frustrated, and ultimately powerless against you. In this video, we'll uncover 7 effective strategies that will make a narcissist find it increasingly difficult to maintain control over you. Stick around until the end, because once you understand these tactics, you'll have the power to stop them in their tracks. Before we jump into the details, make sure you subscribe to our channel. If you enjoy this video and find the information useful, hit the like button and share it with anyone who might be dealing with a narcissist in their life. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on all our future videos, filled with tips and insights on handling difficult personalities and improving your relationships. Now, let's dive in. Narcissists crave control, admiration, and emotional fuel from the people around them. They thrive on provoking reactions, manipulating emotions, and ensuring that the world revolves around them. But the first way to make a narcissist unable to deal with you is to stop feeding their ego. Narcissists thrive on validation, whether it's through praise, attention, or even negative emotions like anger or frustration. When you refuse to give them what they crave, you cut off their supply. And this drives them absolutely crazy. They don't know how to function without being the center of attention. By not reacting, by not giving them the admiration they so desperately need, you force them into a position of uncertainty. They will try harder to provoke a reaction, but when you remain calm and indifferent, it disarms them entirely. One of the most powerful ways to render a narcissist helpless is by practicing emotional detachment. Narcissists are skilled at pushing your buttons, getting you to react emotionally, and using your feelings to control you. They want you to feel anger, sadness, guilt, or fear because it gives them power over you. But when you learn to stay emotionally neutral, no matter what they throw at you, it frustrates them. They can't manipulate someone who doesn't react. Emotional detachment doesn't mean that you stop caring. It simply means that you don't allow the narcissist's actions to dictate your emotional state. The more you practice this, the less control they have over you. And they absolutely hate losing control. Next, we need to talk about setting firm boundaries. Narcissists love to test limits, pushing as far as they can to see what they can get away with. They'll trample over your personal boundaries if you let them, always demanding more of your time, energy, or emotional resources. But when you set clear, unwavering boundaries and stick to them, it creates a barrier that narcissists struggle to penetrate. Boundaries are like kryptonite for a narcissist because they represent something they can't control. They will try to push back, manipulate, and guilt-trip you into bending those boundaries, but the more you stand firm, the more powerless they become. Setting boundaries forces the narcissist to realize that they can't dictate your life, and this realization is something they deeply fear. One of the most surprising ways to make a narcissist unable to deal with you is by using indifference. Narcissists thrive on being the most important person in any given situation. They want to believe that they are essential to your happiness, your success, and your life in general. But when you show indifference, when you stop caring about what they think or how they behave, it throws them off balance. Indifference makes them feel irrelevant, and for a narcissist, there is nothing more terrifying. Instead of reacting with anger or sadness to their provocations, respond with calm neutrality. When they realize that they no longer have the power to affect you emotionally, they begin to crumble. Narcissists don't know how to deal with someone who no longer cares about their approval. Another incredibly effective strategy is refusing to engage in their drama. Narcissists love drama. They create chaos, conflict, and tension because it puts them at the center of attention. Whether it's starting arguments, creating misunderstandings, or playing the victim, they will do anything to stir the emotional pot. But when you refuse to engage in their drama, when you remain calm and refuse to be drawn into their chaos, it disarms them. Narcissists need conflict to feel powerful, but when you take away their drama, they lose one of their primary tools of manipulation. The less you react to their provocations, the more frustrated and powerless they become. A more advanced way to make a narcissist unable to deal with you is by holding them accountable. Narcissists hate being held responsible for their actions. They will go to great lengths to avoid accountability, shifting blame, making excuses, or outright denying their wrongdoing. But when you consistently hold them accountable, when you refuse to let them off the hook for their bad behavior, it forces them to confront a reality they can't stand. Narcissists want to believe they are flawless, but holding them accountable chips away at this delusion. They can't handle being confronted with the consequences of their actions, and when you do so, it forces them to either change or retreat. Holding a narcissist accountable might provoke an angry reaction at first, but over time, it weakens their control over you. Lastly, the most powerful way to make a narcissist unable to deal with you is to cut off all contact. Narcissists rely on your presence, your emotions, and your reactions to fuel their sense of importance. When you completely cut off contact, whether it's going no contact after ending a relationship or significantly reducing interactions, it strips them of their ability to control you. Going no contact is one of the hardest but most effective ways to reclaim your power. Without you in their life to manipulate, the narcissist is left with their own emptiness and insecurities. It forces them to look elsewhere for their emotional supply, but more importantly, it frees you from their toxic influence. Cutting off contact puts you back in control of your life and removes the narcissist's ability to harm you. Thank you for watching and staying with us until the end. We hope these 7 strategies give you the tools and confidence to handle the narcissist in your life. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might be dealing with a narcissist, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content just like this. Have you tried any of these strategies? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories and experiences. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember that you have the power to break free from toxic people. See you in the next video.